The Isle of Mull off the west coast of Scotland is a notorious hotspot for otters. It's bloody riddled with them, and anyone with half a brain knows that Mull is the place to go to see these beautiful creatures. We're not going to Mull though. In fact, that's the ferry over there, and we don't want to pay for it. So we're going to try our luck here on the mainland. Otters are these things, and those things, and this fella. They are mustelids, and the Eurasian otters we have in the UK are one of 13 different species found worldwide. They have sweet faces but are vicious little buggers with powerful jaws and sharp teeth, which is why they're able to prey on all manner of fish, eggs, small mammals and hard-shelled crustaceans like crabs and lobsters. They are naturally quite elusive animals, and finding them on the mainland wasn't going to be easy.
Luckily, we'd had a tip-off from an old friend about a section of coastline where otters had been seen in previous years.
So we spent an afternoon doing a recce to see if there were any signs that the otters were still here. And Harry got off to a good start.
This is a great sign. This is a crab carapace, the main body shell of the crustacean. And it could be the remains of an otter's dinner. There's no guarantee though, because crows and gulls also eat crabs.
And then the thirsty boy found another good sign.
So we've found a freshwater stream. Well, it doesn't taste great, but it's critical in a habitat like this to support otters. That loch over there is salty, and the otters can't drink that, so they need this fresh water.
And as we reached the end of the loch, I found something very exciting. The crab remains and the freshwater source are absolutely brilliant. They show that this area could, in theory, support otters. But what we've just found shows that otters are actually here. This here is a big pile of otter poo, or spraint. Now this stuff here, this browner, lighter, slightly drier stuff, this is older, but there is some dark stuff here as well, almost black, which means it's fresh. And if you give it a sniff, yeah, it smells really fishy and quite sweet. This is 100% otter.
First thing in the morning, we returned. We've arrived at 4:30 this morning. This will give us the best chance of sighting an otter. This is because otters tend to be mainly nocturnal. So just before dawn broke, we carefully started moving towards where we'd seen signs of otter activity yesterday. And amazingly, we spotted one pretty much immediately. We've just spotted the otter. He's dead still here, and the otter's now swimming along the side of this bank.
The challenging terrain meant that to stay quiet, we had to stay put and hope that the otter would come to us. And we got very lucky. The photo we got is okay, but nothing special with the composition or behaviour or lighting, it's just okay. We didn't see the otter again, so we made our way back to the car.
This area of shoreline was pretty much always in shadow, not the best for photography, and the limited access to the shoreline meant the risk of disturbing the otter was too high for our liking. So we had to try our luck elsewhere.
We already had some luck this morning, but we thought we'd check here on the way back. But when we arrived, because of all the camper vans, because it's midsummer, we didn't hold out a whole lot of hope. But Harry spotted an otter already.
Before all the happy campers woke up, it seemed like this otter was enjoying the loch to herself. To avoid spooking her, we waited for her to dive before edging closer to the shore.
Let's go. We continued our little game until we were near the shoreline, where all we could do was wait. So normally we're on like high-speed continuous, so you go bang, 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 bang. But if we go on silent and continuous, we lose the frames per second, so it's not quite as quick, but it's far, far quieter. That's also why when we're doing focusing and anything like that, we've set our cameras up so they don't make a beeping noise,
because that could also disturb the wildlife.
Even though we'd taken the time to set our cameras up properly, the otter rudely headed out the opposite direction and didn't come back. Another failure.
So we set our alarms for 3 in the morning, again.
Good morning. We've got some great light at the moment. It looks absolutely superb.
It was a beautiful, still morning, and the surface of the loch was glassy like glass, making it easier to spot animals breaking the surface.
Okay. Yeah, the otter's over there. Okay, when I said there was an otter over there, I was wrong. There's two otters coming our way.
And then, as per usual, the otters disappeared. It was high tide though, and there was still a chance they'd come back out for low tide.
The tide is going out, which is a good thing, because when the tide's out, the fish and all the other prey for the otters is concentrated into smaller channels, which means the otters prefer it, because they don't have to swim as far to find food.
While waiting though, we did get a chance to appreciate all the bird life here.
A female goosander was just slowly swimming past, got closer and revealed 6 chicks, 2 of which were on her back. As the female goosander and her chicks got closer to those gulls over there, they sensed danger and they sped up and raced past them. It's brilliant to watch.
While Harry practiced his profession, I spotted an iconic Scottish species.
Holy moly! So a white-tailed eagle just turned up, flying that way, and as it went past the pylon, some peregrine falcons that have been perching there came off and just started dive-bombing it. That was amazing. They've chased it off now. The eagle's gone, long gone.
By late morning, all the local campers had woken up, and there was too much disturbance for the otters to return. So we left, defeated again.
We continued our 3 a.m. starts for days on end with absolutely no luck before we had to return back south. Bugger.
Right, let's be honest, that was a little bit disappointing. But it's been a couple of months and Harry and I have been saving our pennies. So we're going to head back to Scotland because we have unfinished business.
Good morning, and it's a misty one. The loch is there if you can just about see it. When the fog clears, we might have a chance of spotting an otter. Come on.
The visibility was shocking, but we booted up and got ready anyway.
We hoped that sending up the electric bird thing would show us that the fog was blowing over. It wasn't.
Who cares though, we'd put too much time into this to fail, so we ventured out anyway. And then, after spending all morning looking, we failed.
Well, we didn't see any otters. Never mind. Oh, this is getting very frustrating now. Come on.
The next morning, the conditions couldn't have been any better. Everything was perfect. The tide was out, the water was still, and we were more goddamn determined than ever. But the god of wildlife photography's twisted sense of humour meant that yet again, we'd failed to get the encounter we needed.
Oh man, for sake.
The following morning though, cameraman Scott rang whilst we were driving by a busy town.
He's spotted an otter near this town as we've been driving through. So I'm just gonna quickly pull in here. Okay, it's go time, go.
Yeah, okay.
You got it. This has taken so long.
If we can get this otter, this will be a miracle. take this. Okay. There it is, there it is. Look at the size of it. Huge. He's a dog otter. Oh my God. We quickly got into position and fired off a few frames.
This huge male otter then worked his way down the coast before disappearing into his holt. The shots weren't that impressive, but we were more excited by the fact that we now knew where to come to tomorrow on our final day in Scotland.
That was brilliant.
Oh, so good. Come on.
On the morning of our final day, we were so excited that we forgot our boots. There was no time to get them though. The big fella was already out fishing.
When he briefly came onto shore, I managed to capture this photograph. Look at the size of him. He is absolutely the biggest otter I've ever seen.
When Brutus decided to head back out, we waited for him to dive and then quickly set our footwear to attack mode before clambering down to the shoreline.
The chunky boy then came back into shore again, this time with a fish, and we were in the perfect position to capture him.
So I'm trying to get some photos where I'm not zooming all the way in, so I can show a bit more context, because there's some beautiful lights of the town and the harbour and the ferries and things over there, so I want those in the photo too.
So by zooming out a bit, I managed to get this. By showing the otter with the pastel pre-dawn colours of the town and ferry behind it, the image has a real sense of time and place.
Well, who'd have thought, after all that, we have our best mainland otter encounter on the edge of a town. Oh, for goodness sake.
Not quite how we expected it, but mission accomplished.